Whatever their choices that were that day or their planning, I've got no idea. I don't know whether or not to yell, scream, cry. I just don't know.
It's the road trip that Kelly Townsend has been dreading.
Tell me, how are you feeling at the moment?
Kind of anxious, knotted up inside.
Driving 800 kilometres to the place where 2 years ago her son and former husband perished.
This is the first time I've actually been back since. You don't realise how vast and big this bloody country is out here. It's huge. And 2 years ago it wasn't this green, it was really dry because it was a really hot summer.
33-year-old James and his 66-year-old father Ray travelled here to the Murchison region of Western Australia to go prospecting.
This is actually now getting surreal because it's, knowing it's close. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good at all.
James was Kelly's middle son.
Very caring, very loving. Had this absolute contagious, cheeky giggle. And he went through all his life. Even now I miss those sounds of him. But he was always there always willing to learn, always gave himself new challenges. He would turn up and he would help a mate.
James didn't take to school and at age 16 headed north to work on cattle stations. Kelly and Ray ended up separating after more than a decade of marriage, but they remained on good terms.
Ray was a very quiet person, had the world for his boys and loved spending the time with him.
In late February 2024, James and Ray packed their four-wheel drive for the fateful trip. The pair had a brand new metal detector, but no personal locator beacon or PLB. They headed to an isolated spot about 60 kilometres southeast of Meekatharra. The alarm was raised 4 days later when local prospectors noticed their empty campsite.
The Saturday of the long weekend, I was getting ready for the Pink concert and the police turned up at the doors on my doorstep and I was thinking, well, this is really weird. That's when they sort of said that they've found Ray's vehicle in Meekatharra on a station. And then they said that they hadn't been sighted around their campsite. And I was like thinking, okay, this is not good. Kind of went into numb mode. I'm thinking, this shit can't be real. Surely not.
A full-scale search is underway for two prospectors missing in WA's Murchison region. It's not known how long the camp
packed up and headed up to Meekatharra. I think we arrived there about 10:30 that night.
You would have still been hoping, I suppose, that everything was going to turn out okay.
I just thought I honestly thought that they were going to be okay.
A massive search ramped up, with dozens of volunteers, police trackers and a heat-seeking plane brought from interstate. 2 days later, their bodies were found. It appears James and Ray had become disorientated and had no way to call for help.
I still haven't got my head around the fact that I've still lost my son. I haven't dealt with it either, to be honest, and I'm brutally honest. I don't think I've really accepted the fact that he's still not here, and this is 2 years on.
Adding to Kelly's pain, the knowledge the men could have been saved had they carried a personal locator beacon.
If the boys had had the PLB on them, whatever happened out there to them that has gone so tragically wrong, they could have set this off and they would have had help.
And Kelly's not the only one dealing with grief that could have been avoided. Across the country, Australians continue to disappear and die in the outback.
Yeah, look, we have seen an increase in land-based search and rescue over recent years. In 24-25, we saw an 11% uptake in the rescues nationally.
Alex Burrell chairs the Australian National Search and Rescue Council. He says while many searches are for children or dementia sufferers in urban areas, the most difficult, deadly and preventable are for people missing in the bush.
Look, it's a real combination out in regional parts of Australia, so it's everything from bushwalkers to hikers to remote workers to farmers. We also have seen more people getting involved in outdoor activities. There's an increase in four-wheel driving, camping and all those types of things where people are out and about.
And many of those who get into trouble are experienced in the bush.
I think complacency is a big part of it. I think sometimes just an over-reliance on their own familiar knowledge and not having a plan if things don't go as planned for them.
Those who've had near-death experiences say things can go wrong much more quickly than you'd think. Prospector Brian Brady is sharing his story for the first time. In May 2023, he and two friends set up camp about 600 kilometres north of Perth. In the late afternoon, Brian decided to do a quick recce.
I thought, I've got good hour of daylight. I'll just go for a walk around the camp, but keep it in sight. And so off I went.
Within minutes, his metal detector was making promising noises.
And so you keep going and you keep going and then you just get carried away and until I was further than I thought I was and then I realised I wasn't sure which way was back. I'm thinking this is not good.
Brian Brady made two critical errors. He had bought a PLB, but he'd left it in his car rather than carrying it with him. And like so many who find themselves lost, rather than staying put, he decided to try to walk himself out to safety.
Thinking of all that safety gear to make contact with them is back in my ute. I was just going to go for a walk around the campsite. You bloody idiot. That's what I'm thinking. I call myself that many names.
Brian spent the next 3 days walking to what he thought was a caravan shimmering in the distance, but it was an illusion, a mine site too far away to reach on foot.
Towards the end of the third day, I couldn't stand up anymore. I was too weak and yeah, so I just had to camp under a bush and thought I'd get a bit better and get over the weakness and maybe carry on a bit, but that's as far as I got.
And it was there, on day 4, that he was found.
A 72-year-old Perth prospector missing in WA's Midwest has been found alive after spending 4 nights in the outback.
The 72-year-old had walked 27 kilometres from camp and survived without water for 4 days. He's seeing the police footage from the moment he was rescued for the first time.
It brings back memory, that's for sure. The first thing I know is there was more than that. They were all jumping around me and trying to, pull my lip out and dripping water in there, and I was trying to grab the bottle. I just couldn't stop having the ice blocks the police officer was giving me. Because they tasted bloody nice, I tell you.
Brian knows he could easily have died that day and is hoping that others may learn from his mistakes.
I'm not going to the toilet now without a tracker. It's that important. If it happens, stay where you are. The shortest distance you are when you realise you're lost, and you'll be found the next day. Stay there.
So Mr. Brady was an extremely lucky person. He was right at the cusp of what we would call the time frame of survival, so he was within hours of passing.
That must be an extraordinarily satisfying moment for you guys when that...
Yes, yeah, there's nothing better than actually finding someone alive in a circumstance like that.
Sergeant Jim Armstrong is part of the WA Police Emergency Operations Unit, which oversees hundreds of searches each year. Many end up costing the taxpayer millions of dollars, involving aeroplanes, helicopters and dozens of people trying to truck footprints through the scrub. But he says more important than the financial cost is the emotional toll.
When I've seen the outcomes of some of these jobs, and it's tragic when people have passed away and they're within a few hundred metres of safety. I've had jobs where people actually got themselves to safety and then left again and then perished. And it's just heartbreaking to think that they were so close to being saved.
The first step for staying safe, pack more supplies than you think you'll need and tell people where you're going. But the most urgent advice from police, carry a PLB on your body at all times.
It's a lifesaver having a PLB, and it turns a search into a rescue. We know exactly where you are, we're just sending someone out to pick you up.
Back in the Murchison, we're approaching James and Ray's final campsite. A local landholder guides us to the isolated spot.
Just over there.
So you're saying they were just camped over here under those clump of trees?
Visiting the site, it's horribly clear the mistakes that James and Ray made. No one knew exactly where they were headed, and the days were dangerously hot.
They've set up near the trees. That their frame was part of their gazebo that was set up over here.
That actually was there?
Yeah.
It's still here?
That's still their gazebo frame.
After 2 years?
Yeah, and then and they've actually headed off in that direction to go gold prospecting.
Their bodies were found about 2 kilometres away, under trees, not far apart. Their files are still with the WA coroner, but Kelly believes that James and Ray most likely set off on foot at night time to go prospecting before getting lost and succumbing to the elements. And it's not just grief that she carries. There's also confusion and anger.
Whatever their choices that were that day or their planning, I've got no idea. But just standing where I know that their last moments of camping were, it's hard. I got no words, and I don't know whether or not to yell, scream, cry. I just don't know.
Visiting this place has not been easy, and there's relief when it's over.
It's also given me a bit of fire in my belly to make more people aware of the importance now of having your personal locator beacons, because they're game changers.
Kelly would like to see PLBs made mandatory for prospectors, but there's little support from government agencies who point out enforcement would be difficult and the onus remains on individuals to take responsibility for their safety. But it's a deeply personal campaign for Kelly, and one that she's not walking away from.
Doesn't matter how well you think you know Australia and the outback, it's gonna catch you off guard. And if you're not prepared, it's gonna get you. And my son and their dad, my boy's dad, have unfortunately lost their life because of this. If they'd had that one little bit of safety equipment on them, it was preventable. And I suppose that's what the main message would be, is take that little bit more care, spend that few extra $100 and have something that will save your life out there. Because the heartache to everybody else is just, there's no words for the heartache.